So how would they do a Punch Out in 2021?
They would do it the same way, but just don't make it based off of stereotypes from cultures. Just make it based off of just silly stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't make it based off of, oh, this person's Japanese dude, you knock the sushi out of him. You know, like, don't make it stuff like that. You know, which that was in the game, okay? It was in the game.
Yeah, the French boxer would have baguettes come out of him. Yeah. That was good.
Yeah, the French guy, and then like Disco Kid was
That's
like
horrible.
Disco Kid was Disco Kid. I'm not. Disco Kid was Disco Kid. I mean, like, so just make it to where it's just like stupid stuff, but not based off of like regional or ethnicity or whatever the case is. You know, make it just silly stuff in general. Anybody can do any silly stuff.
Like you could do things like King Hippo.
Yeah,
you
King
know,
Hippo's
like
fine.
Characters like that.
Sandman's okay.
Sandman's good. Yeah. I'm trying to think of the original.
I think you just call it Punch
Von
Out.
Kaiser. Von Kaiser was fine.
Just call it.
Nah, he was kind of. He was kind of Hitlerish, bro.
Just call it Punch Out Ultimate, and then just have the Smash roster in there. That'll work.
Smash roster.
Punch Out has some really things that probably wouldn't work in today. People are sensitive stuff. Like really hidden, like not hidden, but like.
That's why I want to see him do it, just to see what happens. I just want to see. Although I'm also a person who's like, bring Mother 3 over just to see what happens.
You guys know, like, the game's not translated. Like, they speak in their language, and like some of the stuff they say is like, oh, yo.
Click, you should stream that game.
You should stream it. People
probably
love that
not.
game. You would get so many people to your stream. People love that game.
I think you guys are trying to ruin my career. Thank you very much.
No.
Punch Out's fun.
I would have streamed it, but back then I didn't know what the hell streaming was. I played it back in the day when it first came out.
Yeah,
I would have totally streamed it.
The whole time from what you're explaining to me is I'm playing it, I'm like I'd be like that. That'd just be me. Like no change expression, just like
it's not that bad.
I don't agree. I don't agree.
That's why I wouldn't mind seeing them do a Punch Out though. But other than that, I guess Strikers would be cool.
I would like Strikers.
Strikers is the one I want.
Yeah.
I mean, really, Mario sports games in general are usually pretty solid. It's weird that we haven't seen
like,
one.
Strikers for
there's
me
something
was like,
special about Strikers. Yeah.
Strikers next level, man. Especially that online play.
Edgy.
It was like next level games.
Yeah. Okay, so what about the idea though? If they said, you know what, let's do a new IP. Let's do like an ARMS. Let's let you do something new.
Not ARMS, Jesus.
No, but like I mean, like something new.
Whoa! Let's not disrespect ARMS.
Fuck ARMS.
ARMS is a fantastic game. I will not tolerate slander of ARMS in this room.
1v1, Sean and Nate, go.
No, I don't play. I play trash games. I didn't connect not those types of trash games.
Oh.
Don't make me kick your ass in Connect 4 again.
It was tied.
I will put you in the same trap.
The same trap. So I wouldn't mind seeing that either, though. Obviously, they're going to do Luigi's Mansion 4. Like that's like the next thing I assume they're going to do with the sales of 3. But I wonder almost if they'd work on 2 games at once. And
how many employees do they have?
That's a very good question. 117.
They got to ramp up if they're going to do 2 teams.
Well, if Nintendo, I mean, owns them in March, maybe they start hiring and they're like, yeah, let's do another team.
That's what they're hiring.
Yeah,
they want to hire. They want to expand the team once they get them in March. So they want to turn them into a big studio for them.
So here's the next question, Nate. Now you're talking about turning them into a big studio. All right. So in North America, is Retro next level. In 10 years, which studio do you think is the premier studio in North America for Nintendo?
Next Level Games.
They make games. They release games.
I think it's gonna be Next Level Games as well.
Retro. Yeah, they release games. Their caliber is they're a rising star. Whereas Retro, they've made fantastic games. Almost every game Retro has put out has been Game of the Year caliber. Their problem is that since Tropical Freeze released in 2013, 2014, they haven't made a game.
They're a very good support studio.
They are a great support studio, and I feel like Metroid Prime 4 is their deliver, or we are going to transition you into something else because we need We need to rely on you. You need to be a consistent developer for us, and you haven't been that for almost a decade now. Next Level Games, hey, we need a quality Luigi's Mansion. Here's 2 of them. And now people are going to bring up Federation Force. They made the game Nintendo wanted them to make.
Right.
Yeah.
That was their fault as developers. That was the game Nintendo wanted, and they delivered the product. It just wasn't what anyone else wanted. So, Retro, they can still recover. Metroid Prime 4 is fantastic. Retro may be able to turn around their problems. But Next Level Games, I think, is going to be the premier North American studio for Nintendo moving forward.
Yeah. I think you're right. Like I said, we'll see what Metroid Prime 4 turns out like, but right now, anyway, with their recent track record, I mean, one of them does Mario Kart tracks, and the other one does Luigi's Mansion.
I mean, that's fine. Retro as an assist studio, they've been doing great. They've been assisting with the Mario Kart. They're doing well at what they're told to do. I mean, Tropical Freeze is probably the best 2D platformer ever made.
Well, let me ask you this: how come? All right, so if Retro is that good, why didn't they have Metroid Prime in the first place?
The problem is that the Retro that we remember, even going back to the original Tropical Freeze, is not the Retro we have in 2021. They've lost a lot of talent. That talent went to Blue Point.
Yeah. So Blue Point obviously
made the original. Yeah, like the team who made the Prime trilogy is not there anymore. This is a completely different Retro. It's Retro in name, not in talent.
It's true.
And that's probably where Nintendo wants to take Metroid Prime into a different direction. That's why they went with Namco and probably Nintendo internal. Whatever they were crafting up didn't work, and Retro said, hey, we were making that trilogy. Let's pitch it and see if we can get it back and show them we can still make a good Metroid game. They got the project. Now it's you have to deliver.
See, that's the story I'd like. That's the story I'd like to believe, is that Retro like really went there and said we can do it better, and they were like, all right, because that tells me that it's Retro actually is like serious and like they care about not just doing Mario Kart tracks all day.
I mean, hopefully they do deliver and they get back on track where they become that consistent studio that Nintendo can lean on for reliable AAA tier releases. Because it would be a shame to see them shutter into just an asset assistant studio. But I mean, at least everyone there would still have jobs. They'd still have a role within the company. But Nintendo needs Retro to step up and be that studio that we loved during the GameCube era.
I wonder if they're the ones that were porting over Metroid Prime trilogy to the Switch.
I wouldn't be surprised if they've had some sort of hand in it.
That's why that's what I figured happened, is that they were porting that over, and that they approached Nintendo and said, we can make Prime 4. Look what we did with Trilogy. So that's just what I was figuring, because maybe they did something different with the controls for Prime 3 from the Wii to the Switch, and they're like, look, we got this concept, let's take it to 4. And it was good enough for them to say, or it was good enough for them to cut ties with Namco on that project and scrap it from the start. Yeah.
Or they were sitting on a pitch for a while now, because I mean, they finished the original trilogy. Maybe they had an idea in mind, but then they shifted to Donkey Kong, and they were just sitting on that original concept, and they said, let's get a vertical slice that we can show Nintendo, because we know development is going bad, and Nintendo liked the direction enough to say, hey, you guys are doing nothing else.
They liked it enough to halt production and restart it.
Or the production of the original one was just
that bad.
That they were like, we announced the game, and now it's shit. This game sucks.
That's what I really want to see. Yeah, that's what I want to see.
I want to see what it looks like. I hope that gets out someday, and there's like, here's what they were gonna do. And
I'm just really curious. Yeah, because I mean, Namco, like, they helped with Star Fox Assault, and I really liked that game, you know, and so I figured like they would have been okay. But I mean, that's been some time since.
Yeah, maybe it's as simple as it just didn't run well. Like they were like, we can't get this thing to run correctly or something like that. And it's not the direction.
Maybe it's a technical standpoint. Yeah.
It could have been tech. It could have just been vision of, you guys got really experimental with the direction of this game.
Yeah.
We don't really, this isn't clicking the way we want
Nintendo,
it to
they don't make first person shooters like that though.
That too. It could just been the in-game systems weren't feeling right, and they're just like, you know what, we bit off more than we can chew.
Dude, what if they made Metroid Prime 4? What if it was a third person shooter? And they were like, we can't do this. We can't do this.
Yeah.
Like, what if it was something like that?
The
Shooters kind of be first person
of the game was first person shooter, but it might have been like a hybrid too, where it was like first person, then it went to third, like some type of
dating
like
sim elements.
Cover system.
Yeah, cover system, or like other M, you know, kind of had like it's hybrid first and third. So
Don't do it.
Well, it's more because Prime is like always first person, or like
Yeah.
you
Right.
first one turns in the ball, you know, you move around, that's fine. But like otherwise, it's always been first person. I don't know. Maybe someday we'll see it come out, but until then, it'll be interesting because Next Level and Retro are right there with each other. So I'm sure they'll help each other out here and there. Maybe Next Level's already looking at Prime, Metroid Prime right now.